At wide receiver, I genuinely can't believe this guy continues to be drafted so low, but it's Jakobi Meyers with the Las Vegas Raiders. He is wide receiver 41 in ADP for half PPR scoring. And I think this is a player that just consistently gets overlooked year after year. And, you could be like, yeah, he's a solid player, but how about fantasy production? He's been a top 25 wide receiver in total scoring each of the last 3 seasons, and just outside of top 25 in average points per game. Like, very legitimate playmaker who's always had to kind of take a backseat as either a wide receiver 2 behind Devontae Adams, or simply not getting the target share that you'd kind of want with Brock Bowers as the primary, target share guy at even being a tight end for the Raiders last season. But despite never being that primary guy, he continues to put up really reliable fantasy production. I think Meyers is also going to get a massive boost with Geno Smith at quarterback, because if you look historically, I think the argument can be made Geno's going to be the best quarterback Meyers has had throwing him the football at the NFL level. And I get that not everyone is a Geno Smith fan, but I think when he has time in the pocket, his ability in the intermediate and deep game is pretty damn impressive. And I think that's going to lead to some, maybe not a ton of targets, but I think the targets are going to be much more valuable than they've been in previous years. I think that, plus a revamped coaching staff with Pete Carroll and offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, I think Chip Kelly's ready to take a step forward again in the NFL. I know he had, took some real lumps as the head coach for the Eagles, but the way he's evolved as a coach at the NFL and college game, I thought he did a tremendous job coaching at Ohio State this past season. Obviously, they go to win a national title. But I think all of the pieces are in place for Meyers to finally establish himself as that veteran number 1 receiver. And I don't know if he's going to have number 1 production, but in the context of this offense, I think he's going to have a pretty dang good year. And I think it's going to result in him being, horribly undervalued in fantasy drafts. So if you see him there in the later rounds, I think he's a phenomenal wide receiver 2 asset for any fantasy owner, whether you're in standard or PPR leagues.